Hi, everybody. Welcome to another week in Pensado's Place. He's Dave, I'm Herb, and we're going to drill down on this baby here, the art of vocal production. But first, we got some news for you. The Pensado Fall Free-for-All is off to an amazing start. We received entries from all over the globe, and we've got the first 3 winners for you. And what do these lucky folks win? 3 mics from Warm Audio, the 47, the 14, and the 87. Tascam Track Factory, Isotopes Neutron 2. The Sonarworks Headphone Edition, Leapwing Audio's Dyne 1, the IK Multimedia iLoud Micromonitors and T-Rax Max, Eventide's SP 2016 Reverb plugin, and the Pensado's Place Recording Vocals with Dave Pensado book. And everybody who enters, remember, everybody who enters wins something. What do you win? You win Groove 3's All Access Pass for 30 days. That's to a bunch of instructional videos in audio by lots of pros. It's bountiful, folks. You want to do it. So now we need to tell you who the first week winners are. Drum roll, please. From Queensland, Bos Bosley. From Sweden, Joel Duran. And from Los Angeles, happy to have a lady on board, Megan Larsen. Congratulations. Yay! All 3 of those guys are going to be eligible to be the grand prize winner.
Oh, my
There's
goodness.
even more goodies in there, plus an appearance on Pensado's Place if you're the grand prize winner. Remember, guys and gals, there's plenty of opportunity for you to enter, plenty of opportunity for you to win. And here's how. You go to pensadosplace.tv/fall free-for-all, enter just a few lines of information, and you are eligible to win. And remember, everybody who enters wins something. And we want to thank the good folks at Warm Audio, Groove 3, Eventide, Isotope, Sonarworks, Tascam, Leapwing Audio, and IK Multimedia for their support. Really incredible. Yes. And by the way, when you're signing up for the contest, also do us a favor, like and subscribe and click notify right here. We'd appreciate that. And let's have some fun. More winners next week. Got to get it in there. And what's this week's ITL?
I did a mix with Total Studio 2 Max from IK Multimedia. I used Moto-Bass, Amplitude, and Gavin Larsen's mastering console. Turned out great. Check it out. I've been playing with Total Studio 2 Max by IK Multimedia, and man, there's some real gems and jewels in this software bundle. I want to share a couple of things with you that I think you might enjoy. Totally changed the way I worked on a couple of things. A lot of times I'll get a synth bass and I go, man, if it just had a little bit of a live vibe to it. So I asked my friend Bob Horn to put a track together that would illustrate this process for us. And you guys all know Bob. Bob's just a next level engineer, so thank you, Bob, for doing this. I'm gonna play the track he put together. I told him don't do anything special, just record some stuff so we can kind of play with it. Now here's what he did. Pretty cool. Thanks, Bob. Good stuff. Bob played all those parts himself. He's really a good engineer. So, what if we add a live bass? Live bass, you say, Dave? Where are you going to get a live bass? Check this out. This is the Moto-Bass plug-in, and I'll tell you what, this is really something special. Let's listen to the track again, and halfway through it, I'll add the bass, okay? So you can see I'm playing these MIDI notes with the bass now. Now, I've got a number of things I can do. The scariest one is I can choose between all of these basses. I've chosen a 60s P bass. That's one of my favorite basses. But look at this. More. Incredible. So we selected that bass. This determines where you're actually picking the strings. So let's check this out. I want more bass, so I'm coming up here, and so we can actually make it a slap bass. I'm not going to go through all of these. Good Lord, there's so many things you can change. You can watch. Just let it ring out. Okay, so let's figure out ways to add more. Let's figure out ways to add more bass. So now, let's use some flat wound strings. Let's use a heavy gauge string. Let's make them old, standard, drop. Oh, look at this. You can add strings. It's not going to help us because we got a fixed part. Let's go down with 4. And then on the electronics, check this out. But let's add a little bit more top end. See what a P bass sounds like with a Rickenbacker pickup. Now we can use all of these different pickups inside this bass. Can you imagine it? Oh, listen to this. Check this out. That's just the Rickenbacker pickup. So let's turn that down and let's add the P bass. We're getting there. Let's smooth it out a little bit. This is a brick wall limiter, and I'm telling you, it is a brick wall. It looks like it's not doing something, but trust me, it is. So let's see. Take our bass out. Add it. Give it up. That sounds good, man. Sounds real good. But wait, there's more. This just came out. This Leslie cabinet. Watch what it's doing to the top end. Here's the top end. Watch. Let's add that to the mix. And then while I was preparing this, Bob gave me this great guitar sound. So let's see what we can do to that. So you've been listening to it. I'm gonna solo it for you. Man, I think I used the very first version of this plugin, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since. So I put together a little sound for you. It's stereo. We're running a couple of Fender amps. I've got an older Fender here. I've got a deluxe reverb here. These are my cabinets. Oh, I got a stomp box right here, a little chorus thing. You can fill all these slots up. Oh, these IK guys, man, they're on fire. So watch this. Bit of a volume gain there, but you get the point. But Dave, those drums sound pretty good. What'd you do to those? Well, I put this Larsen plugin on it. I've had this for quite a while, and he's one of my favorite mastering engineers. Gifted man, legend, really, and he's just really young. This is what I got on the drums. I'm looking at my meters. That's pretty close to the same volume. This plugin is kind of a amalgamation and series and a collection of some of Gavin Larsen's techniques. I'll take you through it real quick. You've got an input drive, and this is one of my favorites. Watch the EQs. That's pretty cool, and you can unlink them. So So if you want a little more. And then you've got access to quite a few things here. I've shown you what that is. And then we've got, here's where we can do some adjustments, some threshold, makeup gain. Check this plugin out. It's got a lot of uses. I've used it on a stereo bus. It sounds really good. I like it on my drum auxes. I think it's incredible there. But you could just as easily use it on a music aux. You see where all my music is going. So let's hear what it sounds like with and without it. So there you have it, a couple of IK multimedia things. I'm really digging this stuff. Check these things out, man. This is some game-changing stuff from IK Multimedia. See you next time.
Hey guys, we thought this week we would drill down on Dave's book release, which is called Recording Vocals with Dave Pensado. Recording vocals is an art form that over the years that we've had all the guests we've had, from Kook to Edie Lehman Boddicker to Greg, well, everybody has a different approach. You can record vocals portably on your laptop. There's all kinds of stuff. So why don't we jump in and kind of go through your philosophies on certain things.
Sure.
At the top, microphones are important, correct?
Vital.
And I think some people, so let's start with some basic stuff, like the difference between a dynamic microphone, a condenser microphone, and a ribbon microphone.
Well, the technical elements are different. That's in the book. I think of a dynamic mic as being useful when I have volume and I need some proximity effect. And a condenser mic is probably the most widely used mic when you want to get a high quality sound. What was the third one?
Dynamic, condenser, and ribbon.
Oh, ribbon. Ribbon's the third one. Ribbons, I don't use often myself for vocals, but sometimes if you want an old school vintage sound, a ribbon mic is the best for that.
And then around that context, there are all kinds of things. Impedance, polar patterns. What's a polar pattern?
Well, polar pattern is...
say that 3 times fast.
Polar pattern. And what it is if you've got a mic in front of you, that microphone can pick up what's in front of it. So in other words, mostly you. And then it can pick up your surroundings, which is called a cardioid. And then if it picks up front and rear, it's called an omni. The omni is probably best known for Al Schmidt. He always uses omnis. I can't make them work like that. And so I like a tighter pattern myself.
A tighter polar pattern.
Yeah, I just made it focusing on the singer and not getting so much room effect, which is good if you're working at your home studio and recording yourself. A tight cardioid is what you want because you don't get all the bounce off the walls.
So if you're thinking about that, patterns and reach and bounce off walls and things like that, then how you set up the microphone's got to be important as well too, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you put it close to a wall and sing into a mic that's close to the wall, you're going to get bounced back from the wall. If you put it too far from the wall, then you're going to get a bounce back from the back wall. Studios don't have this problem as often as say, a bedroom producer working on himself. In that case, I would move it around while I'm holding a mic and then just record various places in the room and record, like say, I'm in the corner, I'm in the other corner, I'm in the front, and then listen back to those recordings and see which you like best.
Does the gear and the hardware around the microphone make a difference? Booms,
it's vital.
Mounts, stuff like that.
Don't laugh, but I think when you have a big boom and a sweet-looking mic hanging down and the headphones are ready to go and the lighting's right and there's a little stand for extra things and you've got the singer's favorite stuff there, even if it's yourself, it just gives more confidence to the person singing, including yourself. And you're a singer. I can't imagine being a singer because...
Oh, no, go ahead.
I can't imagine being a singer because you're just out there by yourself. I can hide behind a guitar, and that's different. But I think the main goal of all of this is getting a great performance. And the way you get a great performance is by giving that singer confidence the minute they pull in the parking lot, or if it's yourself.
Right.
Treat yourself like a star, you know? So I think it's more physically important in terms of viewing it rather than, I mean, I've made great records sitting the microphone on a chair back and taping it, you know?
So the all-important mic selection, we've probably heard different people have different mics that they like. Different vocalists have different things that should be utilized on. Some people try. How do people deal with mic selection?
Well, it's really difficult if you don't have a big budget. If you've got a small budget, you might only have one microphone, and an SM7 by Shure runs around 300, and that's a great mic. A lot of hits are made with that mic. But if you can afford more mics, the advantage is that I've never seen a situation where one singer always used the same mic and got ultimate results. Sometimes, like a singer singing soft might sound better with this mic in the verse, and it might sound better with another mic in the chorus. And the only way to do that is to have those mics. So maybe rent them and see the people you're working with, what works most of the time, and then go buy a model of that.
So budget limitations aren't an issue. What mics would be great vocal mics?
Well, the classics, 251s, 47s, 87s, the Neumanns, the AKGs, those mics are good. But there's a crop of mics coming along that are less expensive that are pretty good. David Perlman makes some great stuff, Soyuz. In general, Herb, the tools that we use now are just incredible and diverse. Not no other time. I think this is going to be remembered as the golden age of recording.
So, is there a difference between miking for lead vocals or miking for background vocals?
Yeah, one person, you can optimize the position of the mic and optimize the gear in the chain after it leaves the mic, the preamp and all that. Background vocals, sometimes you have to decide if you're going to use a stereo pair or the various forms of stereo mixing and MS technique. So it's a little more intricate. I prefer to get a semicircle in front of a good omnidirectional microphone, and then probably use an MS technique somewhere along the way. So I have control over the middle and the sides separately. Yeah, it's a little different.
Is there any context to positioning your monitors having to do with vocals?
No, I was recording a long time ago when I first started, and I was recording an artist named Peebo Bryce, and we just couldn't get a good performance because the headphones were bothering him. So I set up a couple of little inexpensive speakers on a stand right in front of him in the control room. Luckily enough, the cardioid blocked out some of that information, and that worked. But the only thing I like about speaker placements in terms of analyzing a recording of a vocal is making sure that I can hear the higher frequencies, because if you can't hear them, you're going to add too much, and then if you mix it yourself, it's going to get out there with that harsh brightness, you know. And then if I get it, I have to struggle with smoothing it out. So that'd be the main thing.
So an engineer can learn good or bad habits in terms of vocals, depending on who they're working with, right? So if they're working with a producer who has a certain style, you have to find a way to learn how to do good vocals. It's not, you're not going to just get it. Yeah, it takes a minute.
The thing that took me the longest to master, and maybe I didn't yet, but compression was the hardest, and then getting great vocals, recording great vocals, and sometimes mixing great vocals is right up there with difficulty.
Well, the thing I've noticed with lots of our guests is that if you have a particular knack for vocals, a particular signature, and somebody, let's say somebody successful or somebody on the way up, bonds with you, they're going to ask for you for everything they do because they trust that you're going to get it.
100%.
So it's almost a way, if you get really good at it, of, I won't say guaranteeing you a job, but certainly we've got certain circumstances where, like, for instance, Rihanna will only record with Kook. Or there's certain vocalists with Edie that Edie can always hire and book, or so on and so forth. Or Greg Wells has a certain approach to vocals as a producer that have to do with him as an engineer and a mix person and what he wants to get and how much he honors it. So it's an art form and a craft that can really take you places.
For me, you mentioned Kook. For me, the most important thing, and this is going to be something that a lot of people might disagree with, but I'm more interested in a great performance. A great performance will hide a lot of deficiencies in the technical elements. And how do you get a great performance? Well, it starts when the singer hits the buzzer at the gate to come in the studio. If the receptionist is having a bad day, that singer's not going to sing as well. If she comes in or he comes in, there's a crowd in the front. Everything at that point involves giving the singer confidence and confidence in yourself. So you have a lyric sheet ready, so you can know exactly when to mark something that needs to be changed. What I do is I look at the back of an album, or I go on Genius or one of the All Music. I find out where they did their last 2 or 3 albums. I'll call that studio and I go, "Hi, my name's Dave Pensado. Can I speak to the engineer that recorded these vocals?" And so I'll get that guy on the line. I'll say, "Hey, when you recorded so-and-so, what mic did you use? What did you find worked best? Did they like T? What did they like to have? Did they like reverb in their headphones? And how'd you set the headphones up?" So you generate confidence for that singer to get a great performance. And then if you're lucky enough to have the skills of a Cook Carell, then you even get a better vocal. So to me, the performance is everything.
So if let's say you call that engineer and you're doing research on the past thing, and they go, "Well, this vocalist likes methamphetamine."
Who doesn't?
So you have that around anyways. I got
of course,
you.
Herb, you know that.
The thing that I went to Cook's workshop that he did at the Academy, and I've been around while he did his book and so on and so forth, and he's very aggressive as a vocal producer. He is almost performing along with the artist, but he has done all of what you're talking about, which is set the stage properly, do all the psychological stuff that makes you feel comfortable. But then also, if they run into problems, sometimes you have to jolt somebody out of it. But that's about trust and people getting to know you and trust you and so forth. So there's psychological aspects to that as well.
One of my favorite things about Cook is some singers have trouble inventing Ad-Libs, and Cook will sing them and make them up for you, and you've seen him do that, and I'm blown away by that. I can't do that. Well, I can, but the record wouldn't sell.
Well, it helps that he's a singer.
Yeah, and not just that, he's a great singer.
Vocal recording chain, what is that? Talk about it.
Well, the microphone converts air pressure and frequency into an electrical signal, and once that conversion happens, this is where the fun begins. Now you need to run it into a great preamp. My favorite preamp is the Moog preamp. I forget the number of it. The Chandler TC2 is a good one. And so what the preamp does is it takes a very tiny signal that comes out of the microphone and it amplifies it so that it can go to the next step, which would be the voltage at which it can go through all the gear that you want to use. And that's a critical. Did I say vital?
And vital critical.
Yeah.
Both.
So much bad can happen there. If the singer sings too loud, and you're not prepared for that, you might have your gain on your preamp too loud, you'll get distortion. If the singer sings too loud, you have to listen for the capsule that's moving inside the microphone. It can collapse. But anyway, you get to the preamp, and then some people like to put a little touch of compression. In the digital space, it's not that necessary anymore. Be sure to police every part of the process because your converters might not be able to convert. But basically, the next part is the part where the fun begins. That's where your technical skill comes in, and you learn how to manipulate that ratio of the volume of the microphone, the volume of the mic preamp, and the volume of the next stage, which could just be going into your console. Those three things are going to have a big determination of if the sound sounds open or if it sounds pinched and closed. And me personally, that took me a long time, like 5 years to figure out how to do that.
Do you have a specific recording chain that you count on?
Yeah, I like a quality microphone. I don't care about price, just quality sound into a Moog or a Chandler. I'm not a big fan of the knee pre's. They tend to be they sound a little bit out of date.
Okay.
But if that's the sound you want, nothing can touch them. And sometimes I use that sound because it fits with the production. So those are three of the best. And I like the CL1B compressor by TubeTech. A good old-fashioned 1176, you just can't beat it. I tend to not like tube amps after the pre, so while I'm recording. And that's about it, really.
So headphones. Some vocalists use them, some don't. Some keep one ear on, some keep an ear off. Is there a philosophy around headphones? And
Yeah, that's where control of the process leaves my hands, because singing in headphones, which I've seen you do in the shower, can become.
Wait, we might want to back up on it. Just to clarify. Did I send you a picture or something?
No,
okay.
no.
All right, cool.
It's a Mixed Magazine article. But headphones, it's just not natural. You know, like when you sing in headphones, it's so foreign. And then when you hear yourself in headphones, you're at the mercy of the skill of the engineer, because let's say the music is too loud, you're going to try and sing too loud and you'll burn yourself out. If it's too soft, you're not going to feel the tempo and the key and the harmonic content. And it's just a horrible way to record a vocal, but that's all we've got, except for the Peebo Bryson thing that I said, which was an attempt to get him to perform better, because it's just, you just don't grow up listening to yourself through headphones. And so it's the quality of the headphones we have nowadays is spectacular, but that doesn't help. It's just, I would recommend, if you're at home recording yourself, I'd literally practice singing through headphones and try different things and record the end result and learn from that. And while you're learning that about yourself, you're simultaneously learning how to help other people. I like to put effects in my headphones so that they can sing to that. Some artists benefit by a tiny bit of auto-tune while they're singing. Now, in today's world, we can elect to record that, or we can elect to just have it be a monitoring thing. But that's probably, God, there's so many places where things can go wrong and a singer can just not be inspired, you know?
And do singers still sing and do this?
They do.
Say, gotcha. And what are they doing when they do that?
Hearing themselves inside their own head, which is a more natural sound to a person than putting a headphone on.
Okay.
It allows you to get some sound. It's not the sound that goes out, but it helps you with pitch and stuff like that. Usually they can't hear the harmonic content or the musical instruments that are playing notes. They can't hear that to sing in pitch. You can always hear the drums and the rhythmic stuff and sing on time, but sometimes to hear your own pitch better, you do that.
How does a singer prepare for a session?
Well, you and I have been around some of the best, and I've seen...
And some of the worst.
And some of the worst.
Yeah.
And I've seen that particular person walk in cold on a cold day, take his jacket off, and just nail it. No warm-up, no tea, no lemon, no honey, no nothing. And then other people have routines. I think you're an athlete. I think the concept of having a routine when you go, say, to the free throw line, or when you're kicking an extra point, or I fail with a soccer metaphor because I don't know soccer too well. I'm learning. You get a routine so that you relax. You 3 dribbles on the right, this, and that's your routine. And I think a routine for a singer is the same thing. Whatever makes them comfortable, whatever makes them relax. Just do the same thing over and over again. And then if something can be improved, add that to your routine. The human body, everybody's different. The one thing that, going back to engineers, my pet peeve is having the star or yourself do mic checks and get the equipment set up by singing. Let's say it takes 20 minutes to do that. You've burned 20 minutes of your singer's best singing ability just setting stuff up. So always, if you know you've got a session coming up with Christina Aguilera, do your research, find out an up-and-coming singer that sounds like her, get that singer information, call her, and say you'll trade a mix for her. She'll come in and help you get the mics ready for Christina to come in. So now you get your EQ set with a Christina-sounding person, get your levels set, you get your effects set. Christina walks in, the receptionist, "Hi, good to see you." She walks in, everything's set up, looks like a pro setup. You go, "Glad to have you. Do you want to relax a minute? Are you ready to go?" She's ready to go. So she walks in, play and record, bam, you got the first thing, which is, the first take is usually the best.
Yeah, I think what you're alluding to is preparation. And whether it's preparation from the engineer side or preparation from the vocal from the vocalist side, even preparation from the studio side, because one of the things you guys are dealing with now is not everything is in a commercial studio. So being prepared at home or in your home studio, there might not be a receptionist, there might not be some of the things that you have access to, and you still have to get a great performance at the end of the day. And a lot of times great performance is authenticity. It's honesty. You know, it's not perfection necessarily. If there's one thing this show has taught me, is that most of the greats try to find that moment that's real as opposed to that moment that's perfect.
One thing that put a little bow on this, when you're working in a major studio and on the other side of the glass, the singer's there. Now, the singer can't hear what's going on in the control room. If you got the singer's friends behind you on the couch and they're laughing and giggling, that singer doesn't know if you're laughing at them or what. So I don't let anybody stay in the control room unless they're always focusing on the singer. So whenever he or she look up, they're seeing attentive people. I like movement, I like dancing, I like having a good time, I like clapping, and there's a talkback microphone that I can use to communicate with the singer, and I have the option of hitting a button and doing that or leaving it constantly on. I leave it constantly on so that singer always knows what's going on in the control room. And then when she's singing, of course, or he's singing, I have to cut it off, but it's automatic. When the tape stops, it comes on, and then that amplifies the performance. And if you can find a way to do that as a bedroom artist, just have a couple of friends over and just have fun. I mean, we make music to entertain people, but sometimes we make it in the most sterile environment that's non-conducive to entertaining people.
But at the end of the day, you're being observant. You're finding out. I remember when we had Patrizio on, those sessions, sometimes there's a lot of people in those sessions. And they like a lot of people and like a lot of chaos and so on and so forth. So I think you have to know what a particular person wants and then gear yourself toward it without compromising your performance as well as somebody who's recording the vocal. Correct?
If it's a major artist, like I said, engineers like to help each other out, contrary to popular belief. Just find out where they recorded their last record and get some information, you know?
Well, I think we've got a very special guest to do Batter's Box. So you ready? He's a tough one.
I think I'm gonna win though.
Okay. All right, here we go. You ready? I'm not even gonna introduce him to you.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, both of us are.
Oh, okay. Fire away.
Okay, let me remind you, Dave, that all answers are about vocals. Huh?
Okay.
Fire away. Preamp. Mog. Vocal EQ. Plug in m.w.a, the Massenburg, hardware 2055 Avalon. He's good, Herb.
It's okay.
Compressor plug-in versions. That's a tough one. The m.w.a by Klanghelm. TubeTech CL1B. He probably can't afford one. TubeTech is my favorite outboard compressor for vocals. Pop filters. I don't like pop filters. Best mic under $500. Let's see if he was paying attention. Got to be the SM7. Best vocal mixer. Mick Zowski, of course. Favorite reverb, Dave? The Eventide 2016, the original one, and now I'm using the plug-in, which is excellent. Yeah, of course.
And here's the last one.
Okay.
Your feelings about Dave Pensado.
Absolute bedwetter.
Well, the Daves did pretty well, all things considered.
He's a little bit of a smart ass, you know?
but we got it done. Not bad, Dave. Hey guys, keep it up. You got to enter the Pensado Fall Free for All and win a bunch of prizes. It's going to be really cool.
Absolutely.
Also, Dave's book is available at Amazon. Take a chance to go get that. DP, take us home.
Whew. Vocals are probably simultaneously the most fun thing I do and the most frustrating thing I do. I've lost my temper quite a few times working on vocals. You hear it in your head and you're trying to get it to come out of the speakers and it just frustrates you. But it's also one of the most fun things I do and I enjoy it the most because that's where the human part lies. We'll see you next week.